Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Mobby, and today I want to talk about Dicefolk. This is going to be my review of the game. This one came out on February 27th, and what is this? It's basically a dice building roguelite game with tactical turn-based combat. It's currently going for $15 on Steam. It's single player, and it has keyboard and controller support. So moving on to the gameplay. The world is overrun by Chimera monsters, and you are playing as one of the Dicefolk. You are an individual who can control chimeras with dice. So you're going to be trying to defeat the Salem Forest and bring peace to the land. A typical run lasts between around 30 to 60-ish minutes, and you're going to be picking between starting talismans, which change your starting chimera, which are the monsters which are going to be used to fight other monsters. You have multiple biomes to explore, various events leading up to a boss that ends the overall act. You got battles, different elites, multiple shops, the Dice Forge itself, different treasures and recruit stations, and a lot more. And battles are basically 3v1v3, so you have your 3 chimeras, and depending on the random encounter, 1 to 3 different chimeras. You have a leader, and so does the enemy, which are in the front, and then 2 supports in the back line. But you can rotate out which ones are support and which ones are leaders with different abilities. Each side of a dice had 6 faces that get thrown per round. You get to choose the order on which all of them resolve, so you can mix between using all of your ally ones, all of the enemy ones, or a mix in between, whichever one benefits you the most. But all enemy dice must be used first before you can end the round and re-roll. However, you can hold yours for even more strategic stuff there. Alright, so you got different stuff in battles. You can attack, guard, rotate, support, lots of buffs, debuffs, and all of the chimeras in the game have a passive and different actives. So, you know, for example, when it rotates out, sometimes they attack, or when they leave, they cause something to happen, like bleeding an enemy. Maybe they retaliate when someone else gets buffed. They can activate stuff to freeze monsters for double damage. There's a lot of abilities here. It can get a little overwhelming at the beginning. Chimera progression. Alright, so your starting Chimera class is definitely themed, and the type you can typically find is going to be found throughout the game as well. You can swap them out just in case someone got knocked out, or maybe you need to heal them on the fly before you get to another battle, or maybe you just want to get them out and get stronger ones to change up the synergies. You can upgrade their health, their attack, their intelligence, and other magical spells and equipment can be altered and put on them that really change the gameplay quite a lot. You have token consumables and extra dice to obtain for even more actions. So the overall loop of the game, including all the elements I just talked about: choose a class, explore 3 biomes with a 4th one to unlock later. If you guys know Slay the Spire Heart, it's very similar to those different to that act, right? So we're gonna be battling chimeras, upgrading your chimeras, surviving, and then repeating with different meta unlocks to change future runs. So with that being said, let's move on to the pluses. What did I like about this game? Well, the look, right? It's very cartoony, and I have to say I kind of wasn't impressed. I was like, ugh, when looking at small screenshots. But when you're in the game, you see all the animations, the interesting chimeras, it kind of grows on you. And I did appreciate that there was some voice acting in some of the cutscenes in the game. Another thing that's cool is the Chimera Variety. There's a lot to unlock. They drastically change strategies on the fly by switching just one of them out. Most of them that you fight in the game, you can actually recruit yourself. So, you know, you're learning all the different enemies and all the allies at the same time. You can even find iridescent versions, which is this game's version of shinies, so to speak. So they're stronger, they have different colors. Now, another thing that I love about this game, like probably the top thing, right, is the dice combat. It's pretty unique in my opinion. So every class has their own starting dice faces. Some might have more attack, more defense, more support, even duds on some of them, which you roll and just absolutely does nothing, but that's the roll of the dice. You can alter them throughout the run and overwrite those useless faces that I mentioned, or you want to skew towards more defense, etc., right? You can also even gain more actions by getting permanent dice found throughout the game for that run in particular. And so you have a lot of strategy in terms of ordering. You really have to think about every Chimera, ally and enemies, all their abilities, all their passives, who can attack, who can take the hits, what happens when they rotate. Do I want to rotate because they're bleeding too much? What if this guy gets attacked? What's the reaction procs? It's a lot. It's a very, very, very fun though, and it's definitely not an autopilot game. You have to think about things. And finally, another plus is the game progression, right? So as you play the game, win or lose, obviously you get more, unlocking points if you do win, but you get new classes as you play, a lot of new chimeras to recruit. But super important are the new events on the map that change up everything that you procedurally generate. Different new biomes, completely new biomes, new enemies on the map, and then a final act boss, which I talked about before. And then after you complete a run with all those characters, you can unlock the trial mode, which is essentially Ascensions. Once again, going back to Slay the Spire, if you are used to that, it'll make future runs more difficult with more challenges, and it's a nice slow burn of challenges and longevity. Moving on to the minuses. What did I actually dislike about the game? Now I'm going to be a little nitpicky about this because I really like the game overall, but if I were to say anything at all, I would say maybe battles sometimes drag on a little long, as well as the overall run itself. My typical runs that I did win, let's say, took around 50 to 110 or so minutes, and that's definitely with me even rushing towards the end, like skipping a lot of stuff. This is one of those games where you want to get the most of Act 1 and Act 2, trying to get as much money as you can, etc. But then as soon as you get to Act 3, it's like long-winded. You want to get to the end, so I found myself a lot of the times feeling like, okay, I'm strong enough, I'm not going to worry about all these, I'm just going to go fight the last boss. And we ended up winning 4 runs in a row in that case. But this is all on base, not on Ascension yet. But still, I can see myself playing all the future trials being harder, where you do have to actually take advantage of every single node, every single enemy, every fight, and that's almost gonna make it runs 2 hours long plus, depending on how slow you play. So yeah, that could be an issue in the long run if you are worried about those things. But yeah, the game does have a quit save feature, so don't worry about that. It could be worse if I'm only complaining about run duration, right? However, I guess another thing is some fights are maybe too imbalanced, and what I mean by that is, it doesn't matter that it gets hard later. I mean, like, some battles back to back are way too easy and way too hard, and some of the easy battles, believe it or not, were elite fights that took like a minute, and then some of the other fights like 5 minutes plus. So it's just a lot weird, right? And that's because a lot of monsters keep getting unlocked throughout the runs, so I'm not sure if it's completely balanced where some of them are now shown, and then etc. Alright, so with that being said, the core gameplay, the pluses, the minuses, what's my overall thoughts about the game? Do I recommend it? I really like Dicefolk. This came out of nowhere, and I wasn't really planning on playing it at all, but I'm very glad I did. This game is not even in early access, which is a huge, huge plus. I love games that just release, not in early access. This is the full game ready to go 1.0. So yeah, this is an easy recommend for roguelike deck building fans and dice building ones, right? The combat with the dice and the chimeras rotating and all the different strategies, it's top notch. And the game progression, you just constant unlocks. It just keeps things fresh each run, with overall difficulty slowly rising as you learn more about the meta, all the monsters. You just get a ton of game knowledge, and then it's a good game, guys. You should definitely check it out. So that's it, Dicefolk. If you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe, let me know what you guys think, and if you are interested in watching my footage and gameplay, there's a link down below to my Let's Play channel where I upload all of the episodes, and please come by my live stream on Twitch where we streamed all of this originally. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.